Welcome back to another episode of War in Cali. In this episode, I'm going to detail a tragic event that happened to a young man. Now Oscar Duncan will be a young man known as an easygoing dude with a good head on his shoulders. He was mostly known for being a good face in his community, for playing sports, and being a young man heavily involved in church, and was even a youth pastor, and also known as a dancer.
Dancing, Buck is an acronym. Believers upholding Christ's kingdom. So through my dance, I uphold his kingdom. You have dudes that do it for the fame, that do it for show, just do it just to get on the video, and saying I'm gonna do this for God in this generation. Being 19 years old in this generation is like that's kind of unheard of in a sense, you know. And I get a lot of riff, you know. I go to sessions, dudes like I don't battle, you know. You ask about choir boy don't battle, you know. That's him. And a lot of dudes like, well, they battle. That's what they do. They do moves. They dance for the oohs and ahs of the people, and I dance for the oohs and ahs of God. So.
But even with Oscar being on the right path, it was a lot of gang activity going on in the surrounding areas of his community, and he lived in the Venice Shoreline Crips turf, but he had no part in that type of life. On June 4th, 2012, Playboy Gangsta Crips, rivals of the Venice Shoreline Crips, will be out looking for enemies. Inside the Playboy Crips car were Baby Skull, Infant Skull, and two other people. Oscar and his fiancée were parked in front of their home. Oscar's fiancée will soon get out of the car and begin walking to their home. Soon a car full of Playboy Gangsta Crips pulled up and started yelling disrespectful things to her. She just kept walking. Oscar soon got out of the car himself and began walking to the home. The Playboy started yelling out Shoreline Crip to see if he was from that area. Oscar soon walked up to the Playboy's car and said, "I live here, but I'm not in the gang." Infant Skull then shot Oscar in his face, taking his life. Oscar getting killed caused immediate outrage in the community. Oscar was known as a good person, and he wasn't a gang member, so this didn't make sense to anybody.
Support in providing information and helping us to solve this tragic murder of Oscar Duncan that occurred this past Monday evening. Many of you were probably aware in covering an equally tragic event in South Los Angeles where a 14-month-old child was killed. But on that same night, we had an equally tragic and senseless act of violence here in this community on the west side that we're asking for help today. This young gentleman, Oscar, struck down in the prime of his life, 23 years old. This is a young gentleman that had so much potential. He was born and raised in this community. He graduated from Venice High School, was a captain of the football team, was a homecoming king, committed his young life to help people, to mentor your young kids, to help kids to stay away from the tragedies that we see in the streets every day. And so again, that's why we're here today and asking the support of the community to get behind us and get some information out.
Playboy gangsters will be going around bragging about what happened. They even told another Playboy Crip named James what happened. James was later a suspect in the shooting, even though he wasn't there. But with the shooters telling James what happened, this is where they went wrong. He started telling everything that happened and everything he was told. James got everybody that was inside the car during the shooting arrested. James later became a paid informant. A woman who was inside the car with the Playboys during the shooting, being one of the 4 people inside the car, her name was Nicole. She was later arrested, and she told the police that Infant Skull shot Oscar. Make matters worse for Baby and Infant Skull, Baby Skull was on probation and had an ankle monitor tracking his every moment, and even had cell phone records putting him to the crime. James, Nicole, and Oscar's fiancée will testify in court. Baby Skull will be sentenced to 58 years to life, and Infant Skull will be sentenced to 90 years to life.
We're fine. Oscar is resting in peace to know that he was loved, and his job for the Lord was set out, and he did that. He completed his job. He completed his job, and it's still going to carry out.
Oscar died at the young age of 23, with a promising life ahead of him. R.I.P. to him. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.